Representative Allemand. Present. Representative Angeles.
Here.
Representative Haraldson. Representative Pendergraft.
Here.
Representative Sherwood.
Here.
Representative Smith.
Here.
Senator Driscoll. Here. Senator Garou. Senator Larson. Here. Senator Smith.
Here.
Co-Chairman Bear.
Here.
Chairman Salazar.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Senator Smith, would you offer the blessing?
Which to do the business of the people, Lord God. Father, we just pray that you just would be in our midst, Lord, that your Holy Spirit would guide us, guide our tongues and our thoughts, our actions, Lord God. We love you today, and we just ask that you bless the folks that are before us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Mr. Richards, anything up front here? Begin?
Members of the committee, Mr. Chairman, I did send you an email over the weekend, which was a follow-up to a number of inquiries that you made during Friday's meeting. Yeah, specifically, the $20,000 in the governor's office for the Lifesaver program. That was to provide training for law enforcement, first responders, and surge personnel in dealing with vulnerable adults, especially those with dementia. Of that $20,000, $11,201 has been expended, and the balance, $8,799, is planned for training at the Law Enforcement Academy, Fire Academy, and EMS programs. If you wanted to revisit that and reinsert the governor's struck language, which would require those funds be spent only on that program, you could do so, but it certainly appears that they have spent the money on that program and intend to do so. Secondly, I did consult LSO legal staff on your potential language for the stablecoin, and we have included on and after the effective date of this act as amended, which would avoid any constitutional concerns over impairment of contracts. In addition, Director Apollo of the Stablecoin Commission is here to present to you this morning. And then finally, relative to Section 303H, which was a $25 million carryover appropriation for for oil recovery in the Wyoming. That contract is in its final stages. The University of Wyoming trustees will be meeting January 22nd through the 25th this week, and they intend to engage in contracts with Devon Energy, Anadarko, which is now Oxy, and Continental Resources. There will potentially be a fourth contract with Ballard Petroleum Holdings, but that one will come a little bit later. The point of all this is they do believe that the full $25 million and prior appropriations will be fully encumbered shortly. Mr. Chairman, those were my updates.
Thank you, Mr. Richards. So I think we have the Executive Director of Stablecoin, Mr. Apollo? Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The floor is yours, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As a quick introduction, my name is Anthony Apollo. I am the Executive Director of the Wyoming Stable Token Commission. I have served in that capacity since September of 2023, and I'm joined on the Zoom by one of our commissioners, David Pope, who also serves as the governor's liaison to the Select Committee on Blockchain, Financial Innovation, and Digital Innovation Technology.
Welcome, Mr. Pope.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will be brief. My understanding from the discussion on Friday morning is that there is a motion that has, I think I heard correctly this morning, now amended the footnote that was attached to our biennial budget allocation. The initial wording that was put on our budget allocation of $5.8 million, it caused or put forth the need for the Stable Token Commission to endeavor to work with only Wyoming domiciled companies. Governor Gordon, during his vetoes, removed the word only to express his concern that that may cause undue hardship to the commission in terms of recruiting qualified vendors to help us with the construction and deployment of the stable token. And if I understand correctly, where we are right now is that the motion has passed to reinsert the word only and strike the terms endeavor to, which would then cause the Stable Token Commission in its current capacity or after the March 15th date to work with only Wyoming domiciled entities. There is significantly more context to provide, I think, here around our ongoing procurement process. But if that is off the mark, I'd like to make sure we're on the right track, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, any questions? No questions? Co-Chairman Bear.
Thank you, Mr. Co-Chair. Thank you for being here, Executive Director. Just out of curiosity, what opportunities are there within the borders of Wyoming for contractors or people who are capable of performing this work?
Mr. Co-Chair, thank you we'll get right to the heart of it. During our request for qualifications process, we received submissions from 64 different vendors. Of those 64, one was domiciled in the state of Wyoming. Another has a registered agent in the state of Wyoming, and another has filed to move their company to the state of Wyoming. And again, I specify that that is from the submission process. Of the actual qualifications of those three, two have made it through to our proposal phase, again, with one having a registered agent in the state of Wyoming and one having re-domiciled or in the process of re-domiciliation.
Follow-up, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Co-Chair. To your knowledge, if a company saw this as an opportunity to help the state of Wyoming, what would the length of time be for them to re-domicile in Wyoming?
Thank you, Mr. Co-Chair. My understanding is it is but a few short days. We have a very thorough and efficient process in the Secretary of State's office to facilitate that. The organization that indicated they would be re-domiciling indicated about a 10-day turnaround time to accomplish that.
Any other questions? Yes, Senator DeGroot.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Mr. Apollo. I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions. If one of the companies didn't make the criteria for whatever reason at this point, they still, if at a future time, if they did meet the criteria, they can apply. This isn't just a one-shot deal, I guess. That's my point.
Through the chair, Senator Grew, thank you for the question. It's a good one. And yes, we are working through just let me take one step back to make sure we level set correctly. We have put forth a set of procurement rules. We do have the authority to do our own rulemaking, and specifically when the Stable Token Act was amended in the budget session, we do have specific authority to do our own procurement process, and we've gone through that. We've done 2 sets of emergency rules and are pursuing formal, regular rulemaking. And as we went through this process, because of the interest we've had along the way, we took a note out of the State Construction Department's rules for procurement in which they do rolling qualifications. And we intend, once the formal rules are in place, to perform those rolling qualifications for a duration of 2 years. And that would apply for any vendors who want to build with us, and would also apply for blockchain networks themselves on which we can build. I do want to be specific because I think we got some wires crossed during the last discussion. When we talk about the blockchain networks, that is open source technology that anyone can use. No one officially runs that. You can't send an RFP to the Bitcoin network, for example. So we need to work with teams that are building on those networks. But the goal would be to be more expansive. We do have a mandate from the state legislature, particularly the Select Committee, to be a multi-chain offering over time. So I would specify that this process is to build the first instance of a Wyoming stable token and to bridge out from there.
Follow up, Mr. Chairman? So we're kind of, we're working in uncharted waters here. We're kind of at the tip of the sword of this deal right now. Would that be a fair characterization?
Through the chair, Senator Guru, I would agree with that. I will add one nuance here, and it's a very timely one. The select committee's work and the state's work is the reason why I moved to the state of Wyoming, because I had a blockchain startup and wanted to be where the legislative environment was the most robust. We've had 70 bills put forward and 45 passed since 2016. That being said, we are at a point where, with Donald Trump's inauguration coming up in a few scant minutes, hours, discussions of strategic Bitcoin reserves is now on the table. And there are a number of states also setting up digital asset authorities, task force, select committees. So it would behoove us to continue our expedited pace, because at this point, a lengthier head start may have just been truncated to about 2 years of a head start.
One last one.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In addition to wanting to, and as we all do, want to try to open this up to Wyoming firms, or having firms that want to play in this space to be Wyoming firms, that's not the only criteria, is it?
Through the chair, Senator Guru, that is correct. So both in our request for qualifications, we did have a carve out for Wyoming domiciled companies. And also in our request proposal, that is also a defined point allocation for Wyoming domiciliation. About 10% of the points would be given to a firm that is domiciled in Wyoming. Of those 100 points, 50 for kind of the binary yes or no domiciliation. Another 50 would be scaling or variable depending on how many resources you would have in the state of Wyoming. And that is something that has been defined and distributed to the qualified vendors who are involved in the proposal process.
Just sorry, I lied.
No,
One
go
more.
ahead.
One of these that I've been told, one of these key criteria is something called cease and freeze feature, which is a feature used to trace tokens that may be used for criminal activities such as money laundering or other bad actor things. That's a key binary function that you're looking to make sure. And if someone had a Wyoming domicile, if they didn't have this feature in their proposal until they got it, they wouldn't be able to be involved with it anyway, would they?
Through the chair, Senator Guru, that is directionally accurate. I do want to be, again, fairly specific here. The binary criteria that you're referencing, which is called freeze and seize, which is intended to essentially interdict any tokens that's being used for illicit activity, that is something that we apply to our blockchain selection. So again, when we think about blockchains, we think about open source. There's no one to exactly serve an RFQ or an RFP to. However, when we did our selection of networks that would be in scope for the initial issuance of the Wyoming stable token, that was one of our 5 binary criteria. If you did not have that particular capability on the network, that network would not be in scope for our initial issuance.
Any other questions? Any other questions for the executive director? Okay, thank you very much, appreciate it. Members of the committee, I just want to do a little housekeeping, let you know where we're going. Obviously, we're going to be starting now on the markup of the supplemental budget. It's my intent and co-chairman Bear's intent to try and do this in a thoughtful but robust manner. And because of that, we will be looking at perhaps, probably meeting after session today, as well as tomorrow and Wednesday. It's going to be our goal to try and finish the supplemental markup by Wednesday or Thursday at the latest. With that, Mr. Richards, I'm going to ask Mr. Richards to read the page number of the unit and the unit description as we go through this, so we all know where we're at, and we'll start the markup now. So, Mr. Richards, thank you.
Good morning, members of the committee. The first unit for your consideration appears on page 22 of the agency governor's office. It's unit 0601, emergency response.
Thank you, Mr. Richards. So the motion is the governor's rec. Are there any amendments to this section? Mr. Co-Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Co-Chair. Mr. Richards, there is a comment here regarding the state hazard mitigation plan where we have an option to receive federal funds via the FEMA. It's my understanding that if we fail to do this particular expenditure, that we will probably not be able to accept FEMA funds should we have a disaster. Do we need to take action to ensure that we clearly are willing or unwilling to accept those FEMA dollars in this expenditure?
Mr. Chairman, if you elect not to fund this account, you might be somewhat better positioned if you also put in a footnote that says the lack of funding is no indication of the state's disinterest in accepting federal funds. If you deny this request and do not want to accept federal funds, then nothing is necessary.
I move.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
Mr. Hager.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Kevin Hibber. I'm the Director of the State Budget Department. I'm a little bit confused because I thought we were on the governor's special contingency, which has no FEMA connection. I believe on page 28, where there's a $200,000 request, the governor's recommendation is the one that the co-chairman was speaking to.
Mr. Co-Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Co-Chair. Just I did jump ahead. I apologize for that, but I had no motions. I don't know if there were any other motions on that, the section that you're describing, so.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Senator Grew.
So, I'm sorry, just want to make sure I know where we're at here. So on page 22, it's been moved GovRec on that. That's where we're at right now, so we're
Correct.
voting on that at this point?
Yes, but I'm willing to accept amendments anywhere along the line, so.
Okay, well, I just wanted to make sure
Right.
we're voting on that right now, and then we're going to move on to subsequent motions.
So if there are any amendments, I'm entertaining them right now. Mr. Co-Chair, anything?
Nothing on this section.
Okay. Mr. Richards, do we then vote on each section as we go along?
Mr. Chairman, you do. Historically, those votes have been a simple roll call vote. I would acknowledge the fact that the House has been taking roll call by the Secretary of all votes on all units. That's your choice.
It's up to you. Yeah, we have time in this supplemental. We won't have time in our general.
Yeah, so in this section, why don't we do a roll call? Any other, no amendments then? Roll call? For this section?
Agency 001, Unit 0601, Senator Driscoll. Aye. Senator Larson.
Aye.
Senator Garu.
Aye.
Senator Smith.
Aye.
Representative Allemand.
Aye.
Representative Angelos. Aye. Representative Haroldson.
Excused?
Representative Pendergraft.
Aye.
Representative Sherwood. Aye. Representative Smith.
Aye.
Co-Chairman Bear.
Aye.
Chairman Salazar.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, you have 11 ayes, 1 excused.
Thank you. Go to the next section.
Mr. Chairman, the next unit for your consideration appears on page 26. It is Unit 1106, Disaster Contingency. And I believe this is what Co-Chairman Bear was discussing with the FEMA funds.
Okay, any amendments?
Sorry, which page?
Mr. Chair.
Senator Smith.
Mr. Chairman, you're on page 26, Unit 1106, Disaster Contingency. And I apologize, I was ahead of myself. Co-Chairman Bear's comment is on the next unit.
You good, Senator? Senator Guru? Okay. Anything?
Question.
Questions being called? Roll call?
Roll call vote, Agency 001, Unit 1106, Senator Driscoll. Aye. Senator Larson.
Aye.
Senator Guru.
Aye.
Senator Smith.
Aye.
Representative Alleman.
Aye.
Representative Angelos. Aye. Representative Haroldson. Representative Pendergraft.
Excused. Representative Harrelson.
Okay. Representative Sherwood.
Aye.
Representative Smith.
Aye.
Co-Chairman Bear.
Aye.
Chairman Salazar.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, 11 ayes, 1 excused.
Thank you. Next unit?
The next unit for your consideration appears on page 29, Unit 1113, Brick.
Okay. Open to any amendments. Co-Chairman Bear.
Thank you, Mr. Co-Chair. I move that we insert the language suggested by Mr. Richards and strike the $1 million expenditure.
Okay, we have an amendment. Any discussion? Senator Larson.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I'll probably be a no vote on this. I think we ought to try with the, I'd like to make another amendment afterwards to put in 200,000 like the agency requested or that department.
Any?
Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Yes, Mr. Hebert.
I am following along exactly what you just said. I put my hand up and you said what I was going to say is, the agency still is asking for 200,000. If you don't allow federal funds, then the governor wanted that to be $1 million. So if you put a provision in there that we can leverage federal funds, then $200,000 would be the ask.
Mr. Chairman,
Senator Larson.
can I make an amendment to the amendment?
You can.
I'd like to go to 200,000.
Okay, is there a second? Friendly. Is it friendly?
It is friendly.
Okay, friendly. Second? Okay. Any other discussion? So we're voting first on the amendment to the amendment. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Carried. Now we're back on the Bear amendment. Any other comments, discussion? Senator Guru?
Just to make sure, so now we're voting on accepting the 200,000.
Correct.
Okay, just wanted to make sure, thank you.
Okay. Yes, Representative Bear.
I think we're looking at 200,000, accepting the federal funds and adding the language, ensuring that we can accept future FEMA funds.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Carried. Other amendments to this section, this unit? Any others? Close it out. Roll call.
Roll call vote on Agency 001, Unit 1113 as amended. Senator Driscoll. Aye. Senator Larson.
Aye.
Senator Guru.
Aye.
Senator Smith.
Aye.
Representative Alleman.
Aye.
Representative Angelos.
Aye.
Representative Haroldson.
Excused.
Representative Pendergraft.
Aye.
Representative Sherwood.
Aye.
Representative Smith.
Aye.
Co-Chairman Bear.
Aye.
Chairman Salazar.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, 11 ayes, 1 excused.
Thank you, Mr. Richards.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, the next unit for your consideration appears on page 33. It's Unit 3601, Wyoming Innovative Partnership, also known as the WIP program. In the text of this and during the presentation, you may wish to consider a footnote that specifies that a study, an efficiency study for the future of WIP initiative programs be inserted. And the language for that reference appears in the middle of page 31.
Okay. Any amendments? Co-Chair Bear.
Thank you, Mr. Co-Chair. I move that we insert the language, but also that we deny the governor's rec of $5.2 million for the Wyoming Innovation Partnership.
Is there a second? Second. Discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor of the amendment say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? No. Carried. Other amendments to this unit? Any other amendments? Roll call, please.
Roll call vote for Agency 001, Unit 3601, as amended. Senator Driscoll? No. Senator Larson?
Aye.
Senator Guru?
No.
Senator Smith?
No.
Representative Allemand?
No.
Representative Angelos? No. Representative Haroldson?
Excused?
Representative Pendergraft?
Point of order.
Yes.
It appears to me that there's some confusion about what the aye and noes actually mean.
Mr. Richards?
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, it's always preferable to make the motion in the affirmative, so it's a little bit more clear. I understood the motion to be reduce the governor's rec by $5.2 million and require a study.
Mr. Chair.
So, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so in that case, an aye vote says we take it down to 0 and we put the insert for the language. Okay, I would be an aye.
Mr. Chairman, that's how I,
Okay, does everyone understand that now? Represent. Well, then let's, okay, so let us start again. Everyone, I think, understands the motion now. We'll redo the roll call.
Roll call vote on Agency 001, Unit 3601, as amended. Senator Driscoll? No. Senator Larson?
Aye.
Senator Guru?
No.
Senator Smith?
Aye.
Representative Allemand? Aye. Representative Angelos? Aye. Representative Haroldson?
Excused?
Representative Pendergraft?
Aye.
Representative Sherwood? No. Representative Smith?
Aye.
Co-Chairman Bear?
Aye.
Chairman Salazar?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman? 8 ayes, 3 noes, 1 excused.
Okay. Any other amendments to this unit? We'll close it out, roll call.
Agency 001, Senator Driscoll? No. Senator Larson?
Aye.
Senator Guru?
Nope.
Senator Smith?
Aye.
Representative Allemand? Aye. Representative Angelos?
Point of order.
Point of order,
We're
yes.
not, we're voting on the
Which one?
agency now. Did we cover 3701, Unit 3701?
Mr. Richards?
Mr. Chairman, I believe the motion is as amended, Unit 3601.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay. Continue.
Representative Haroldson?
Excused?
Representative Pendergraft?
Aye.
Representative Sherwood? No. Representative Smith?
Aye.
Co-Chairman Bear?
Aye.
Chairman Salazar?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman? 8 ayes, 3 noes, 1 excused.
Again, I would say to the committee, if you have any questions, please do ask. This is too important to be voting and not knowing what we're voting on, so don't hesitate. So, Mr. Richards?
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, the next unit for your consideration appears on page 37. It is Unit 3701, Natural Resources Core Industries. If I would pause here, there are 2 requested amendments based upon the governor's presentation. The first of which is to reduce this request to $3.5 million and move $4 million to the FNRPA program. You may or may not wish to engage in that. Secondly, I believe the governor's office has prepared draft language, which even if you approve, LSO attorneys may, modify the language for our traditional structure. That would allow any funds that you approve in this unit to be used for all natural resources, as well as previous appropriation made, I believe, in 2022 and 2023 for purposes of coal resources only. So that language would be broadened and allowed to be used for broadly natural resources, not just coal.
Okay. Amendments? Any? Senator Larson? Yes.
Mr. Chairman, from the notes that I read, they have $75,000 left of the 1.2, I think, that was appropriated. And since we're only 6 months into the biennium, I think I'd just multiply the 3 times that 1.2 and come up with like 3.6. So that is my amendment, 3.6.
Is there a second? Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second? Any discussion? Yes, Senator Guru.
So, question for the bringer of the amendment. So does that, or were you including the governor's language on that first part of that, or is it just the dollar amount and that's it, Mr. Chairman?
Mr.
Senator
Chairman,
Larson.
thank you. Just the dollar amount.
Just the dollar amount. Any other discussion? All those in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Carried. Any other amendments to this unit? Co-Chairman Bear.
Thank you, Mr. Co-Chair. I move that we accept the language from the governor's office to allow these funds to be used for all natural resources. And in addition to that, as part of this amendment, I move that we reduce this to 1.2 million, which is what the original fund was funded at. That's lasted a couple of years now since that bill passed. I think it'll make it through the next 12 months. So the recommendation is to reduce the amount from the 3.6 as previously amended down to 1.2 million.
Is there a second? Second discussion? Senator Driscoll.
Mr. Chairman, on and opposed to this portion of it. This is one I find is fairly critical to Wyoming. We've got a number of, by transferring to FNRPA in the original part, really changes this, in my opinion. We've got the Rock Springs RMP, we've got a couple national forest revisions, we got some BLM revisions, and we very realistically could run out of money trying to fight overreach by the federal government. And I think we ought to go ahead and put this money in if they don't need it. They've been pretty notorious about protecting those FNRPA funds and using them well. And this is one area I think it's a good spend that we ought to leave it up there and not leave ourselves exposed. Thank you.
Senator Larson.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to divide that amendment and just not, the 1.2 from the other part on the description, I guess, on what it can be used for. Is that clear?
It is.
Hopefully.
Is there a second? Okay. So we have a division to the amendment. Is there any discussion on this? So let's vote first on the first part of the amendment, which would take, tell me again?
Mr. Chairman, I think that makes it so it can be all
Yes.
litigation.
All natural resources.
All natural
Natural
resources. right.
resources, yes.
So the language
Yes.
in the.
Right. Does everyone understand that? Okay, let's take a vote then. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Now to the second part of the amendment. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? No. Let's have a show of hands. All those in favor say aye. Raise your hand. Those opposed? Okay, those, it does not pass. Any other amendments to this unit?
So, Mr. Chairman,
Senator
just to
Guru.
make sure, so as it's sitting right now, we've got the dollar amount that Senator Larson at 3.8 and the language, 6, sorry, then the language that Chairman Bear put in.
Correct.
Got it.
Mr. Richards?
Mr. Chairman, just for clarification, it was 3.6 million.
3 points, sorry, 3.6.
Okay, can we, I think we can close out this unit. Roll call?
Roll call vote on Agency 001, Unit 3701, as amended. Senator Driscoll. Aye. Senator Larson.
Aye.
Senator Guru.
Aye.
Senator Smith.
Aye.
Representative Allemand? Aye. Representative Angelos? Aye. Representative Haroldson?
Excused?
Representative Pendergraft?
Aye.
Representative Sherwood? Aye. Representative Smith?
Aye.
Co-Chairman Bear?
Aye.
Chairman Salazar?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, 11 ayes, 1 excused.
Thank you. Mr. Richard, next unit?
Mr. Chairman, two items for clarification. Number one, if any member wanted to appropriate funds to the FNRPA account, that would be in the next unit, which would be appropriate to do so now. If not, we can skip.
Anyone? Senator Guru.
So moved.
I didn't hear that. Say again, Senator Guru.
To go ahead and move the money to the FNRPA account.
Okay, is there a second? Second, any discussion?
Can we get a total amount of money that's,
Yeah,
Part of this motion.
Co-Chairman Bear.
may we get an amount of money that we're suggesting in this motion to transfer?
Mr. Chairman, during testimony, the governor's rec was $4 million.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
No.
Does not pass. Other amendments to this unit? Any others? Mr. Richards?
Mr. Chairman, my apologies. In addition, the governor asked that any funds appropriated for this natural resource core industries have an end date of June 30th, 2027. The traditional end date is June 30th, 2026. What is your preference on the end date?
Any discussion? Any thoughts? Senator Driscoll?
Mr. Richards, reversions, this is, say where it goes, I'm not on the right page, so.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the governor asked that any funds appropriated for this natural resource core industries be available for funding through June 30, 2027, rather than June 30, 2026. So it's just the question of when these funds would revert if unexpended.
Thank you.
Discussion? Anything?
Mr. Chairman, if you do nothing, it'll be 2026.
Okay. Any other amendments to this unit? Roll call?
Roll call vote, Agency 001, Unit 3701, Senator Driscoll? Aye. Senator Larson?
No.
Senator Guru?
Aye.
Senator Smith?
No.
Representative Allemand? Aye. Representative Angelos? No. Representative Haroldson?
Excused?
Representative Pendergraft?
No.
Representative Sherwood? Aye. Representative Smith?
No.
Co-Chairman Bear?
No.
Chairman Salazar?
No.
Mr. Chairman, 4 ayes, 7 noes, 1 excused.
Mr. Richards?
Mr. Chairman, I apologize. You have just amended the natural resource to 3.6 million. You have included the language to allow it to be used for natural resources broadly, and then you have defeated this unit in its entirety.
Mr. Chairman.
Co-Chairman Bear?
I just recommend that we reopen this unit for a final vote, redo the final vote.
Okay. Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Reopen. Let us,
Question?
question, is there a second? Second? Roll call vote.
Roll call vote, Agency 001, Unit 3701, Senator Driscoll? Aye again. Senator Larson?
Aye.
Senator Guru?
Aye.
Senator Smith?
Aye.
Representative Allemand? No. Representative Angelos? Aye. Representative Haroldson?
Excused?
Representative Pendergraft?
Aye.
Representative Sherwood? Aye. Representative Smith?
Aye.
Repeat, okay. Co-Chairman Bear?
Aye.
Chairman Salazar?
Aye. Okay.
Mr. Chair. Oh, go ahead.
Mr. Richards?
Mr. Chairman, the next unit for your consideration appears on page 40. It is Unit 3801, Interstate Water. The governor's language in his request on page 39 also requested, if you approve this, that the effective date for reversions be June 30th, 2027. If you do nothing, it will revert on 2026.
Thank you. Discussion, amendments, anything? This unit? Senator Larson. Everybody.
Mr. Chairman, I move to not adopt the governor's recommendation. Is that proper wording?
Mr. Richards.
Mr. Chairman, Senator Larson, I think it would be best if you move to reduce the gov's rec by 2.5 million.
Mr. Chairman, I'll do
Yes.
that. Yes.
Is there a second to that?
I'll second that.
There is a second. Discussion? Co-Chairman Bear.
Thank you, Mr. Co-Chair. I would caution the committee here on this here. These interstate water rights, our state really depends on this water, and being able to adjudicate what we're seeing in the south, those states to the south of us, they're already piling up funds to bring us to court to try to take our water rights away from us. So I think it's imperative that we show the states that are on our rivers that we're serious about protecting our water rights.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Driscoll.
Sorry, I wasn't here for the original discussion. Does this go towards, I guess I'm Mr. Richards, does this go towards consultants, attorneys? Where does it go? I'm not positive on actually how it lays out and what it's being used for. It's pretty broad. So just a little further explanation of where we're at, please.
Mr. Richards.
Senator Driscoll, I believe he is requesting both funds to help adjudicate the water rights, meaning potential for legal, as well as acquisition of data, modeling, and other scientific technical analysis, which would be consultants. So it has the potential for both.
Senator Driscoll.
Mr. Chairman, follow up, Mr. Richards. Internal, or are we hiring consultants for this? I guess I'm sorry, I kind of missed out.
Mr. Chairman, Senator Driscoll, these would be external, not state employees.
Thank you.
Senator Larson.
Mr. Chairman, the way I see it is it'd probably be contracted out is what I think I heard. We've got the data already. We've got the modeling. I just don't know if this is going to go anywhere. I'm not sure if I want to spend money on this. I think it's been studied.
Any other discussion? Senator Smith.
I would motion that this money be used only for legal counsel, outside legal counsel. We need good legal counsel on this, potentially if it did blow up, and I'd be good with that. I think that Mr. Bear raised a good point, and if we continue in a drought, then heads could roll over water, metaphorically speaking, of course, and I do think that having the option for legal counsel
Point of order.
would be well.
Point of order, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My understanding is we do have an amendment on the table, moved and seconded, and we need to clear that amendment before we look at another motion.
Well, are you amending the amendment?
What is the amendment on the table, Mr. Chair?
It is zero.
Okay, yeah. I would move to amend to make it the full amount for legal counsel only.
Okay. Is there a second to that? No second? No second to the amendment, so we'll go back to the Bear amendment. Any other discussion? I'm sorry, the Larson amendment. Is any other discussion on the Larson amendment? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? No. Does not carry. Any other amendments to this unit? Co-Chairman Bear.
I would entertain the good Senator Smith's prior motion at this time.
I would motion that we amend this to specifically earmark these dollars for legal counsel.
Is there a second?
Second.
Everyone understand the amendment? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? No. Carried. Other amendments to the unit? Any other? Roll call?
Roll call vote, Agency 001, Unit 3801. Senator Driscoll. Aye. Senator Larson.
Aye.
Senator Garu.
No.
Senator Smith.
Aye.
Representative Alleman.
Aye.
Representative Angelos. Aye. Representative Haroldson.
Excused.
Representative Pendergraft.
Aye.
Representative Sherwood. No. Representative Smith.
Aye.
Co-Chairman Bear.
Aye.
Chairman Salazar.
Aye. Mr. Richards, next. I apologize. What's the final count on that vote?
Mr. Chairman, 10 ayes. No. 9 ayes, 2 noes, 1 excuse.
Thank you. Mr. Richards?
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, that concludes all of the units. However, during discussions, at least one member broached the idea of providing in this agency, Unit 1107, which is not in your book, so this would bring the agency in, search and rescue funds, and if that balance dropped below $400,000, that there would be a transfer from the tourism projects account for those purposes. I just bring that up if anyone was interested in that.
Okay. Does anyone want to act on that information?
I would so move.
Representative Pendergraft.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would so move. What was the amount involved?
Mr. Chairman, as we understood this, and this was part of the discussion back in December, that if the balance of the search and rescue account dropped below $400,000, there would be a transfer from the tourism projects account to bring that account up to $400,000. That's how we understood the.
So, Representative Pendergraft, repeat your motion.
As read by Mr. Richards, that we back up with the cultural funds,
Transfer.
the search and rescue.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Senator Garu.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I understand where the maker's going, and I agree with the possible need. I'm a no on this because taking money out of this account, becoming a default account for everything for things that we're trying to backfill, that I'm not so sure can quantitatively be assessed as something to do with it. I know that, we're trying to build up tourism, we're trying to build up recreational tourism, which could cause this. I'd like to see data that is what's causing it before I vote for it, so I'm a no right now on that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Driscoll.
Mr. Chairman, piling on a little bit exact same is, I agree totally with the motion, not source funds. I think maybe tourism could have a piece of it, but generally the search and rescue I've seen hasn't been tourism. It has to do with something that's not tourism. So I think we need to be careful about where we're taking funds from and how we go about doing it. But I fully support the search and rescue being fully funded, and we need to continue so. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Senator Larson.
Mr. Chairman, the good representative, does he have numbers? Are we, the 400,000, are we below that dollar amount by $40,000 or do you know?
I don't.
We need to defer to Don. We could defer to Don and see if he has any information.
Mr. Chairman.
Representative Pendergraft.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Richards, would you have those numbers available readily?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, we don't have an immediate balance, but recently, in the last month, we pulled the balance, and it was 1.8 million.
Okay, any other discussion on the amendment? All those in favor of the amendment? Yes, I'm sorry, Representative Sherwood, I apologize.
Thank you so much. I know it's a
Hard
hard
to see
issue
from
over
over
here.
Thank you.
So I'm just referencing the letter we received from the Wyoming Association of Sheriffs and Chiefs of Police, and this was given to us in December on the 9th. And it shows that in terms of subjects involved in rescue since 2009, 45.2% were Wyoming residents, 37.1% were from outside Wyoming, and 17.7% were unknown residency. So I would just second the notion that we need to have clear data, because right now the data shows that the majority is Wyoming residents. And so at this time, I'm against pulling these monies out of our tourism fund, because it's just not clear to me that is where the need is coming from. Thank you.
Okay. Other discussion? Anyone else? Last time. Okay.
Can we
All-
have an explanation for the member that just got here, just what we're voting on?
Mr. Richards, can you give an explanation, a very brief one, to anyone who doesn't understand what we're voting on?
Get his attention.
Mr. Chairman, I believe the motion is to transfer funds as necessary from the tourism projects account to the search and rescue fund to the extent the search and rescue balance drops below $400,000. And just for practical purposes, we'll probably put 2 dates to check that balance in the course of the biennium.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you for that.
All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? No. Let me see hands. Those in favor, please raise your hand. Those opposed? Okay, the motion does not pass. Anything else, Mr. Richards, before we close the governor's budget as amended?
Mr. Chairman,
Senator Larson?
can I have the privilege? I just want to explain my vote if I can.
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I am totally in support of our search and rescue men that are out there and our county sheriffs and in their duties in doing that, but there's $1.8 million in there, and I just thought we'll never, but I don't think they need it.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Okay, so Mr. Richards, we will take a roll call vote on this. So the motion is to move to close the governor's budget as amended. Roll call vote.
Roll call vote, agency 001 to close as amended. Senator Driscoll. Aye. Senator Larson.
Aye.
Senator Guru.
Aye.
Senator Smith.
Aye.
Representative Alleman. Aye. Representative Angelos. Aye. Representative Haroldson.
Aye.
Representative Pendergraft.
Aye.
Representative Sherwood. Aye. Representative Smith.
Aye.
Co-Chairman Bear.
Aye.
Chairman Salazar.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, 12 ayes.
Thank you. Mr. Richards.
Mr. Chairman, we are now on the Secretary of State, Agency 2, the first unit for your consideration, and the only unit with an exception request appears on page 23, Unit 0101 Administration. I believe there are several potential amendments.
Okay, let's knock them out. I will open it to any amendments on this unit. Anyone? Senator Guru.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We really need a little help with this because, well, if it's okay, if I can just get a little latitude, I want to just kind of give a quick overview of what I'm trying to do here, and then I'll break it up into the motion.
I will give you that
itself.
latitude.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This has been this is the supplemental budget. Last year, the good secretary came to us and asked for a computer program, which is approximately $2.9 million in a one-time expense, and then $100,000 plus in an ongoing expense to pay for licensing and various things that go along with this program. We asked if there was an RFP put out for the computer system. We were told no by the secretary, and further told that he was negotiating the contract personally, which is not the process that we go through when we procure, especially multi-million-dollar computer systems. He felt that he was doing it the best way, doing it that way, and that at the time, the Appropriations Committee turned down the request. This year, if you read the narrative, he said because of that, he says that in each specific case for a new employee, he asked for 3 new employees, because we turned him down for the computer system, he needed these 3 employees. So what my motion, will be 2 of them, motions want to do is to eliminate the 3 employees, but give him the 2.9 million plus, I think we adjusted for inflation. I'm looking across to see if I did it right. I can't, there she is. I didn't know if we added or not, if we ended up, no, we didn't, okay. But anyway, to try to add the computer program back and say, we'll give you your original request, we just need you to go through a process to do it. That's it, simple, and that's the motion, and the motion to do that then is on page 23 is to delete, to delete the request. And so take the request to 0. And then a further move then to approve, I don't know if you do that, well, I guess you do that in 2 separate motions.
You could you not do that in a single amendment motion? Yeah. Let's keep it
Could
together.
I do, okay, so that.
There's a second.
Okay, so the
Wait,
motion.
hold on just a minute.
Okay.
So there is a second? Okay, continue.
Okay, so the motion would be to deny the current Secretary of State's 25 supplemental budget request as found in the division for 3 new full-time equivalent employees of 322,600. And then those are listed back in the narrative. And then to further amend, I would like to increase the amount to $3,118,000 general funds and add a footnote that specifies that $2.9 million of general funds is one time and shall be expended under the current rules, regulations, and procedures for procurement.
Okay. So that's the amendment. We have a second discussion. Senator Smith.
Mr. Chair, I know a little about this. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Ed Murray. He changed the game for Wyoming. He really did. He automated everything. He made it really simple to incorporate here in Wyoming, especially with LLCs. And because of that, people were able to easily move their business to Wyoming. But that's just on the initial filing. There are a lot of other things that take place. And the Secretary of State's office absolutely needed this. They've needed it for a while. We actually could compete with Delaware in terms of big deals if we had a better system in place. And this software will do that. I just wholeheartedly agree with Mr. Guru. Ed Murray, if he'd been around, we probably have that because he was a visionary in terms of what the business of the Secretary of State should be. So I'm in support of this, and I think you all should be too, because we're talking, it's not just about the initial filings and things. There's trademarks and trade names, and there's UCC filings. There's all kinds of things that take place, and this software will really help the Secretary of State's office, and also it'll reduce the number of hands that need to touch the paper. And that's the problem. They're swamped because they're basically in some ways not in the 21st century. So that's my comment on that. I support this amendment.
Representative Pendergraft.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I did bring this same suggestion up to the secretary, and he said it was not feasible for 2 reasons. Number one was that software was no longer available at that price. It was kind of a take it now or go away deal. And the second one was he felt that even if they could come up with another deal similar and try to do it, the delivery time on the software would be far enough out that they would already be in trouble. And his response to that was, I can make up for that by adding the people. I would also mention that on his staff are persons already who have developed software that they're using inside that have actually negated the need for at least one and possibly more FTEs. So they're doing everything they can to modernize what they have, but this motion as laid out is not necessarily feasible in my view.
Other comments? Senator Guru.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate the representative following up on that. But to be honest, with all due respect to the secretary, and I do mean that, with all due respect, that's not the testimony he gave us, and all of us in December. As a matter of fact, I remember it quite vividly. He said that you know, what he wanted, that he could negotiate a better deal for this and would if he was allowed to. And last year, no one was not in favor of his request. It was just the way he was doing it, as far as a process that frankly we felt was, and we've been through this for a few years, that when department heads, whether they're elected or whether they're just regular department heads, come in and say, I'm negotiating a sole source contract, the words waste, fraud, and abuse come right after that, and usually out of legislators' mouths, because it raises a number of red flags by not going through a transparent process. Now, he did testify that and wrote in his narrative that the reason why he needed the employees is because we said no to the computer contract. So I say we still give him exactly what he asked for in his supplemental budget. That was just 11 months ago.
Senator Angelos and then Senator Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I do remember the Secretary of State testifying in December, and one of the reasons was I would support a computer system upgrade, but because it will take over 18 months to get it installed, they're in a crunch right now. So that extra person will help get them over the hump. So I would be in favor of giving them the FTEs and maybe possibly during budget session, doing the upgraded computer system. As they said, someone in their office codes and did create a system that they're using. So 18 months to implement that, let's just get them someone to get them over the hump and get the business done.
Senator Smith.
Mr. Chair, I did speak to the director of the business division at the Secretary of State's office, and he did indicate that the cost had gone up, that he was thinking 3.5. I would like to suggest a friendly amendment that we increase your amount to 3.3 to meet him in the middle on that. And I have a comment.
Consider that a friendly amendment.
Okay.
And then I'd just like to say that it's absolutely imperative this be done. The fact that anybody that would say this is not an important system that needs to be in place doesn't understand the dynamics of what's happening in the country. Nevada is over-regulating, so a lot of their LLC business is coming here. Delaware is changing and becoming more restrictive, and so people are fleeing there. Corporations are fleeing there. They're going to Texas, not here. That's a shame. We need to get that business. We are the least taxed, least regulated, most free place, and this is a great place to do business, and that's where we need to be. We need to be open for business, and this software makes that happen.
So is there a second to Senator Smith? Is there a second? Senator Driscoll.
Mr. Chairman, thank you, and I'm sorry I wasn't here for some of the testimony, but I'm loath to grow government. We start adding these positions, I'm yet to see us ever roll one back. I'd like to point out this is a supplemental. We're actually in a in-between time, and I think we've got time. We're not gonna, this isn't an absolute crisis. And I also believe that nearly all of these type ends are better handled by automation and AI than they are by people as we grow our LLC and our business, and we need to, and it's an important part. But it's really important that we automate it to the highest level possible. And people handling papers are expensive and it takes a lot of time, and nearly all of these processes are automatable with software, even if it's fairly expensive up front. It needs done that way. Thank you.
Senator Guru.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate the comments about the need. But I'm only going to talk about myself in the range of my life experience. The computer that's sitting in front of me right now, if I go down to my local computer store, I just got it last year. I had my old one for 7 years before. I got a new one last year. And now if I walk down to my local computer store, they'd say, oh, you got this Surface Pro, blah, we're stopping up doors with those things. We don't even have, here's the newest, latest, greatest, and it's cheaper than this one was last year. I have a hard time believing, I guess is my point, that there isn't any program out there that's available since the last time that the good secretary was in front of us, and with what I've said is available right now in-house, that he couldn't get this, that he could not get this work through, that the technology doesn't exist. It didn't stop. So I think, and especially if my good friend's motion to change to 3.5 was the one-time part. Yeah, 3, whatever it is. I always keep bumping it up. It's a Democrat in me. But no, I think we can get over this hump with this, and I think it is in line with what the good secretary asked for.
Okay, so let's start voting on some of these amendments. So first, we have the Smith Amendment. Any discussion on that further? Yes, let's take a time out. Yep. bring us back. And so we are on the Guru amendment. Any other further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor of the Guru amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? No. Okay, can I see the hands? All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed? So that amendment fails. Okay. Other amendments to this unit? Any other amendments to this unit? Okay, we'll close it out. Roll call.
Roll call vote, Agency 002, Unit 0101. Senator Driscoll?
No.
Senator Larson?
No.
Senator Guru?
No.
Senator Smith?
No.
Representative Alleman? Aye. Representative Angelos? Aye. Representative Haroldson?
Aye.
Representative Pendergraft?
Aye.
Representative Sherwood? No. Representative Smith?
Aye.
Co-Chairman Bear? Aye. Chairman Salazar?
No.
Mr. Chairman, 6 ayes, 6 noes.
Mr. Richards?
So, Mr. Chairman, their supplemental request fails, or the GovRec fails.
6 to 6.
And you could close the budget or have additional amendments? Or did you just close it? I'm sorry.
We just closed it.
Thank you.
So-
The next agency for your consideration is Agency 4, the State Treasurer's Office. The first unit for your consideration appears on page 18. It's Unit 0602, Financial Accounting. Is this one? No.
Okay. Any amendments to this unit? Any amendments to this unit? Seeing none, we'll close it out. Roll call.
Roll call vote, Agency 004, Unit 0602. Senator Driscoll?
Aye.
Senator Larson?
Aye.
Senator Guru?
Aye.
Senator Smith?
Aye.
Representative Alleman? Aye. Representative Angelos? Aye. Representative Haroldson?
Aye.
Representative Pendergraft?
Aye.
Representative Sherwood? Aye. Representative Smith?
Aye.
Co-Chairman Bear? Aye. Chairman Salazar?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, 12 ayes.
Thank you. Mr. Richards.
The next unit for your consideration appears on page 29, Unit 0801, Unclaimed Property. And during the discussions, the agency and the State Budget Department identified that there was some double counting of employee group health insurance, and this request could be reduced by $8,396.
Thank you. Any amendments to this unit? Any amendments to this unit?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Hibbert.
there was a mistake made, and I would recommend that that mistake be corrected as Don read it off, that $8,396 can be amended as a reduction.
Senator Guru. Second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Any other amendments to this unit? Roll call?
Roll call vote, Agency 004, Unit 0801, as amended. Senator Driscoll? Aye. Senator Larson?
Aye.
Senator Guru? Aye. Senator Smith?
Aye.
Representative Alleman?
Aye.
Representative Angelos? Aye. Representative Haroldson?
Aye.
Representative Pendergraft?
Aye.
Representative Sherwood?
Aye.
Representative Smith?
Aye.
Co-Chairman Bear? Aye. Chairman Salazar?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, 12 ayes.
Thank you. Mr. Richards.
The next unit for your consideration appears on page 37. It is Unit 0901, Investments. There are two notes here. Number one, due to the same oversight on the EGI, or State Employee Group Health Insurance premiums. This unit could be reduced by $25,188. $25,188. In addition, on page 35, I would just bring to your attention that the state treasurer is requesting that footnote number 1 on the agency be deleted.
Okay, any amendments to this unit? Representative Pendergraft.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would move to deduct that 25,188.
Second, Senator Guru. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, carried. Any other amendments? Any other amendments? Senator Guru.
The footnote that was indicated, where was that exactly?
Mr. Chairman, you might recall footnote number 1 prohibits increasing the salaries of the investment staff. A similar footnote is applied in the Wyoming retirement system. The treasurer has recommended it be removed.
Anything? Anyone?
Okay, I'll move.
Senator Guru.
I'd move that we follow the treasurer's recommendation and remove the footnote.
Is there a second to that motion? Representative Angelos. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? No. Let me see the hands. All those in favor, please raise your hand.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. Can I get a clarification on the vote? What we're voting on?
Mr. Chairman, Senator Guru's motion is to eliminate footnote number 1 in the state treasurer's office. This footnote prohibits salary increases for the investment staff. Those who are subject to that performance compensation program are not eligible for increases.
Everyone understand? Okay. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Those opposed? Okay, did you see the final vote?
I did not, sir.
6 to 6? Okay, it failed. Senator Guru.
Thank you. I just wanted to explain my vote. We've got a bill in front of us that actually changes the way the treasurer's office does this performance calculation. It actually turns it in from a year to year to a 3-year average system, and it's just working its way through right now, and that was why, well, I'll take it out. I think it would take precedent even if it passed, so it's kind of but I just wanted to explain.
Okay. Co-Chairman Bear.
Thank you, Mr. Co-Chair. Mr. Richards, just to be clear, that we know about the bill that's coming forward for the compensation based on performance. The footnote number 1 does not restrict the performance pay modulation based on whatever criteria is used by statute. So the removal of footnote number 1 would have just given the treasurer more leeway with the base salary. Is that a correct statement?
Mr. Chairman, that is correct.
Okay. Any other amendments on this unit? Okay, roll call.
Roll call vote, agency 004, unit 0901, Senator Driscoll. Aye. Senator Larson.
Aye.
Senator Guru.
Aye.
Senator Smith.
Mr. Chair, point of order. I would like to know exactly what I'm voting on. It's not clear to me. I'd like to know, Mr. Richards, Mr. Chair, may I?
What's your request?
I don't understand what I'm voting on.
Okay.
Neither does my colleague.
Can we have a timeout?
Let's suspend the vote, but I want to, in the mid, yes, and we will, but in the middle of a vote is not the time. If you're not sure what you're going to vote on, and I call for the vote, that is the time to stop the process, to then figure out what you're voting on.
Point taken.
We will suspend the vote. We'll meet for a small break. We'll come back and we'll start the roll call vote over again. Okay, committee, what we will do is restart the vote, the roll call vote, and I think everyone now understands what the vote is. So we will start again. Roll call vote.
Roll call vote, agency 004, unit 0901, Senator Driscoll. No. Senator Larson.
No.
Senator Guru.
Nope.
Senator Smith.
No.
Representative Allemand. Aye. Representative Angelos. Aye. Representative Haroldson.
Aye.
Representative Pendergraft.
Aye.
Representative Sherwood.
Aye.
Representative Smith.
Aye.
Co-Chairman Bear. Chairman Salazar.
No.
Mr. Chairman, 7 ayes, 5 noes.
That passes. Mr. Richards.
Mr. Chairman, the next unit for your consideration appears on page 45. It is Unit 0903, Investment Accounting. This one also requires or was overstated for the employee group health insurance. And if you wish to entertain a motion to reduce it to the correct amount, it would be a reduction of $8,396. I would also remind the committee that this budget request adds 1 FTE.
Okay, amendments. Any amendments? Representative Pendergraft.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would move to make that reduction 8,396.
Is there a second? Second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Other amendments? Other amendments? Roll call vote.
Roll call vote on agency 004, unit 0903, as amended. Senator Driscoll. Aye. Senator Larson.
No.
Senator Guru.
Aye.
Senator Smith.
No.
Representative Allemand. Aye. Representative Angelos. Aye. Representative Haroldson.
Aye.
Representative Pendergraft.
Aye.
Representative Sherwood. Aye. Representative Smith.
Aye.
Co-Chairman Bear. Aye. Chairman Salazar.
No.
Mr. Chairman, 9 ayes, 3 noes.
Thank you. Mr. Richards.
Mr. Chairman, this closes the budget if you wanted to take a final vote on the State Treasurer's Office.
Okay.
Roll call vote to close agency 004. Senator Driscoll. Aye. Senator Larson.
No.
Senator Guru.
Aye.
Senator Smith.
Aye.
Representative Allemand. Aye. Representative Angelos. Aye. Representative Haroldson.
Aye.
Representative Pendergraft.
Aye.
Representative Sherwood. Aye. Representative Smith.
Aye.
Co-Chairman Bear. Aye. Chairman Salazar.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, 11 ayes, 1 no.
Okay. Mr. Richards.
Mr. Chairman, the next agency for your consideration is Agency 006, Department of Administration and Information. The first unit for your consideration appears on page 22. It's Unit 2001, Operations. This request is to continue a AWEC position that was temporarily approved this summer by the governor's office. If you approve this request, there will be a footnote indicating such.
Okay. Any amendments? Representative Sherwood? That's right. Okay. Second? Roll call.
Roll call vote, agency 006, unit 2001, Senator Driscoll. Aye. Senator Larson.
Aye.
Senator Guru.
Aye.
Senator Smith.
Aye.
Representative Allemand. Aye. Representative Angelos. Aye. Representative Haroldson.
Aye.
Representative Pendergraft.
Aye.
Representative Sherwood. Aye. Representative Smith.
Aye.
Co-Chairman Bear. Aye. Chairman Salazar.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, 12 ayes.
Thank you. Mr. Richards. Representative Sherwood.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before we move on for this unit, I do have an amendment I would like to bring that is no new funds, but it's moving existing funds We have in this section $343,000 that I would like to move from A&I's budget into the capital preservation account. These funds are to keep the Capitol open on Saturdays during special events and extended summer hours. And I would like to move this to the capital preservation account, which is a mix of our top 5 elected officials, state agencies, and legislative representation, making sure that the People's House is open and accessible to the public for learning and understanding.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Senator Guru.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think this has kind of been a little bit of a back and forth. The legislature and this committee in the past has been dogged advocates for keeping the People's House open. This money's resided in A&I because they have to keep the building clean and they kind of run the house, the plant itself. There seems to be a disparity and some questions about how this should be done. And I think what we're trying to do here is send a message to our good friends at A&I that it's the intent of this group to keep this building open as much as possible. So the people can come and enjoy it. So on and for, thank you.
Other discussion? Other discussion? Representative Sherwood.
Thank you. I may not have it down to the penny, so I would just like to provide staff with latitude if this motion amendment does pass, to grab the existing balance down to the correct cent.
Okay. Hearing no other comments, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Carried. Mr. Richards.
Mr. Chairman, the next unit for your consideration appears on page 29, Unit 3054, Facilities Operations. For the committee's benefit, this request is to increase full-time employees by 3.
Any amendments, any discussion? Representative Pendergraft.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would move to reduce the amount by $271,600.
Second? Discussion? Mr. Richards.
Mr. Chairman, I assume you also would reduce the FTE. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
thank you. I had just looked over and saw that. Yes.
Okay. Any discussion? All those yes, Senator Guru. Yes.
Is to cut the 271,000 and that cuts 3 positions? And that cuts 3 of the 5 positions. I just want to make sure I understood. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? No. Carried. Anything else? Anyone else? No one else? Roll call.
Roll call vote, Agency 006, Unit 3054, as amended. Senator Driscoll? Aye. Senator Larson?
Aye.
Senator Guru?
Aye.
Senator Smith?
Aye.
Representative Alleman?
No.
Representative Angelos? Aye. Representative Haroldson?
Aye.
Representative Pendergraft?
Aye.
Representative Sherwood? No. Representative Smith?
Aye.
Co-Chairman Bear?
Aye.
Chairman Salazar?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, 10 ayes, 2 noes.
Great, thank you. Members of the JEC, I'm going to, I had talked to Co-Chairman Bear that we were going to end at 9:45 this morning. I think I'm going to cut it off here. We've made great strides this morning, and we will reconvene. Well, that is the question, isn't it? Co-Chairman Bear, I guess my preference would be that we, if it's allowed with the time of notice, to reconvene after we're finished this afternoon. What are your thoughts?
Yes, upon adjournment, I'd like to continue, and as long as we're continuing the same bill, I think it's allowed, so I'm in favor of that.
Okay, and my preference is that as well, to get this underway. So, Mr. Richards, do you have any thoughts on that?
No, we can reconvene upon adjournment.
Sounds good. Are there any other comments before we adjourn for this morning? Just a reminder, the Senate will be meeting at the noon break. And any announcements from the co-chair?
Thank you, great work.
Okay, we're adjourned until this afternoon. Thank you.